Hello, this is Kev and welcome to Accelerator Notes. This is Accelerator Note number 7, which will be on The One Thing. This is a classic book by Gary Keller. What I do in these notes is I'm looking for actionable takeaways, things that make a difference in your life. I have always thought about, right, I need to find the actionable takeaways that I can find quickly, some information that I can implement in my life. That I can think, right, it's a change in belief, it's a change in mindset, it's an actual change in practice, a daily ritual, and that's what I try to do in these notes. So what I do is I literally give you a quick summary of this content, a quick 3 key takeaways that I got, and then I end with questions and actions, because ultimately nothing actually happens unless you implement and take this information and actually implement into your own life. Okay? So, that being said, this is Gary Keller's The One Thing. Quick summary for you. It is what it says on the tin, the one thing. It's all about focusing in on the one thing. It's all about focusing in on the narrow and the small. Instead of focusing in on everything, diluting your focus. It's about, if you want to be successful, get real deep in that one thing. Unfortunately for us, we are living through an exciting time in our lives where we've got so much access to information. And through that access of information, advertisers, promoters, they've also got access to our history, what we like. And that's why they're very, very good at targeting you with new opportunities. And that is a problem. That is a problem because what happens is we get access to all these new promotions, it's enticing, and this opportunity looks like it's great, and then you start to dilute yourself, you start to dilute what you were actually working on. So this whole idea of the one thing, just pick the one thing, get real good at that one thing, scale it up to whatever outcome you want, and then move on to the other thing. Don't try to do too much. So what this is all about, it's all about actually recognizing what matters, because what happens is all these things that are really, really interesting to us, all this information, a lot of it doesn't actually matter in terms of the objective that you're trying to achieve. And that's where he teaches us about a success list, which is the one direction, compared to a to-do list, which is in all directions. Okay, there's a big difference there. Success list, to-do list. When we're talking about success list, we're talking about specific actions that actually get the result that you want. Not a to-do list where it doesn't really matter what's on that to-do list. We can put fluff on those to-do lists. We can put things that don't matter, those distractions. I better check my email, I better check this, and I better check that. And you never really make any progress. So success list and to-do list, very, very important. It's about ignoring as much as possible. Ignore as much as possible and focus in. Just make that final choice and go, I'm going to stick with this. Okay, and because if you do that, you're going to have what I'm going to explain shortly, the domino effect. Very, very interesting, this domino effect, because this really got me thinking, wow, the power of the one thing really, really does show. Okay, the 80-20 principle. We all know about the 80-20 principle. Well, Gary talks a little bit about going in deeper than that. What's the 20% of the 20%? The 20% of actions that you're currently doing in your life is resulting in 80% of your outcomes and your results. So what is the 20% of the 20%? Interesting, very interesting. It's about forming habits, discipline, willpower. That's what it's all about. It needs those. It's all about those habits, the daily rituals. It's all about the willpower to say no. It's all about the discipline to say yes only to that. That's what it's all about. And he actually shares a focusing question, which was really, really powerful. Okay, so that's just a quick summary. There will be a link in the description if you're interested in getting the book. But for 3 key takeaways, the first one, the first of the 3 key takeaways is, number 1, what is on your success list? What is on your success list? And this is really, really, really important. I'm not talking about your goals. I'm not talking about your wants. I'm talking about your specific actions that are actually going to achieve the outcomes that you want. I'm not talking about be successful with this business. I'm talking about the specific actions that you need to take on a regular basis, day in, day out, to be successful in your business. Okay? There's a big difference there. think about what really is important. What really is important? Like, the word really is really, really important here. Like, what really is important? Because some things can be, you can be actually, it's a little bit of an illusion. It's urgent, it's important. Everything's urgent and important. But is it really? What is really important? This actually goes off the 7 Habits of Effective People. If you remember that, it's about getting first things first. What is really, really important, okay? And that willpower, that actual, the discipline, that willpower to say no. Discipline, willpower to say no to opportunities. And in fact, I would go even further and actually say, just actually unsubscribe from people. Unsubscribe. I actually sometimes I turn my, if I get an email come through, I'll literally go, no, this is maybe from something I opted in years ago, trying to entice me on an opportunity. No, not having it. I'm working on this. I'm working on my business. I'm working on my brand life success engineer. I'm working on this. Okay, it's really, really, really important. The second key takeaway that I've got is this domino effect. Now, let me give you a little bit of a statistic here. Okay, the domino effect. What this basically means is if a domino has enough power to knock over the next domino in line, which is 50% greater. Okay, 50% greater. And the amazing thing is, there's an actual video online. If you was just to search for, on YouTube, if you was just to search for a scientist showing the domino effect, basically what he does is a guy that actually starts with like a small little domino, it must only be like 2 inches tall, and then that knocks over a domino which is 50% bigger than that, then that's 50% bigger than that, 50% bigger than that. Works out that if you start with a 2-inch domino, by the 23rd domino, you're now looking at the size of the Eiffel Tower. What a fascinating thing. What a fascinating thing that is. And it's all about, that shows the power of the one thing. It shows about the power of going long term. We've all heard of compounded interest. It's the same thing, the compound effect. The compound effect. It's all about, if you focus in on the long term, commit to that process of mastery, day in, day out. Success doesn't have to be exciting. A lot of the times it's actually quite boring. You're just doing your same rituals. You're going for the same runs. You're reading the same activities. You're making yourself present at the same location to do your journaling, whatever it is. And over the long term, you'll have that success. You'll have that domino effect. Okay? And then just to go on to this willpower again, it's really, really important. Willpower. Like, just say no. Just say, you know what? This year, this month, this week, this is what I'm focusing on. The third key takeaway that I've got is the focusing question. The focusing question, let me read this out to you. What's the one thing I could do that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? Let me say that again. What's the one thing you can do that by doing it, everything else will be easier or completely unnecessary? What a powerful question. What a powerful question. That is so powerful if you think about it. If you find that one thing, what is the one thing that you should be doing on a daily basis that makes everything else unimportant over the long term? Once you found it, time block it, do it. Time block it, do it. Focus on it, be relentless with it, and don't say yes to anything else until you've done that, because over the long term, everything else will become easier. Okay? So, questions and actions for you. What is your one thing? What is the one thing for you? Okay? Number 2, do you work by a success list or a to-do list? A success list or a to-do list. I've already explained the difference between the two. And challenge yourself to say no to 1 or 2 opportunities. The next time you get an opportunity, the next time you have an advertisement come up at you or an email sent to you about another opportunity, not just building upon the opportunity that you're working on now, another opportunity completely. Let's say you're focusing on a business model and this is going to be a completely new business model. Say no. say no and tick it off and actually say, I've said no to this. Build that muscle of saying no. Okay, build that muscle of saying no. So this has been The One Thing. Really, really powerful book. There will be a link in the description below. Super, super powerful. Accelerator Notes. That's what I do. I try to find that information, give it to you. Actionable takeaways. Some questions there for you. What is your one thing? What is the one thing that by doing it, everything else becomes easier or completely unnecessary? Think about that. Do it. And over the long term, big, big things can happen for you. So that is the conclusion of Accelerator Note number 7, The One Thing. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next Accelerator Note. Take care.